Tonight, I invite you to imagine a small, quiet moment, a child sitting at the edge of a bed, asking a question that could steer a lifetime. What will I become? The world will rush to answer with grades, trophies, and titles. But Earl Nightingale gave us a truer compass: we become what we think about. Parents are the first gardeners of thought. Plant fear, reap limits. Plant possibility, reap horizons. If a child learns only one lesson, let it be this: your thoughts are the front door of your future. Guard them, guide them, and they will guide you. Ask each morning, what am I holding in my mind? Ask each night, what did I grow there? A home that honors good thinking becomes a laboratory of destiny. A thought without a direction is a sail without wind. Teach goals not as distant wishes but as present tense plans. Help a child trade someday for a date, a number, a step. Write it down. Read it daily. Break it small enough that success can fit in a single afternoon. The brain recognizes clarity the way a compass recognizes north. When a child can point to where they are going, boredom fades, excuses thin out, and energy finds a path. The world respects the focused mind because the focused mind respects time. Goals make schoolwork meaningful, practice intentional, friendships purposeful. One page today, one problem solved, one call made. Tiny hinges swing massive doors. Attitude is the secret report card life keeps on us. Talent may open a door. Attitude decides whether we're invited back. Teach a child that nothing valuable ever arrives dressed as comfort. Problems are packages with the return address of progress. We can't always pick our weather, but we can pack our attitude. Replace I have to with I get to, and watch the room brighten. Celebrate curiosity over certainty. Praise effort over ease. Encourage the phrase, I'm not there yet. Yet is a wonderfully patient word. Earl Nightingale reminded us that we move toward what we continually picture with feeling. Attitude is the feeling we attach to our pictures. Let it be gratitude. Let it be expectancy. Let it be the quiet courage that says, I will try again. Responsibility is not a burden, it is the steering wheel. The moment a child stops asking, who's at fault, and starts asking, what can I do, the engine starts. Teach the circle of control like a map: thoughts, choices, responses inside, weather, traffic, other people outside. Keep hands on the wheel. If you break it, own it. If you promise it, keep it. If you start it, finish it. The habit of ownership compounds. First a clean desk, then a completed project, then a trusted reputation. A home that rewards responsibility with increased freedom raises leaders, not passengers. And when setbacks come, as they must, responsibility whispers, good, here is a chance to become stronger than yesterday. Habits are the rails our days run on. We do not rise to the level of our hopes, we fall to the level of our practice. Build simple, repeatable rituals that make excellence nearly automatic. A 10-minute read before screens, a 2-minute reset to put things back where they belong, a 1-line journal to capture a lesson learned. Stack habits, anchor a new behavior to an old one. After I brush my teeth, I set tomorrow's clothes. Success is not loud, it is rhythmic. Earl used to say the opposite of courage is conformity. Habits free us from the gravity of conformity by deciding for our best self. The child who learns to keep small promises to themselves will someday keep larger ones to the world. Finally, teach the law of service and perseverance: value first, effort first, applause last. Ask daily, whose day can I improve by 1%? Small services polish the soul. And when the first attempt fails, and it will, teach the 10-minute rule of grit. When you want to quit, stay with it 10 minutes more. Most quit lines are illusions, drawn one step before the view. The marketplace pays for rare things. Consistency is rare, kindness rarer, both together almost unbeatable. Let a child see you do difficult things kindly and kind things diligently. Let them hear the sentence that built lives long before ours: we become what we think about. Guard the mind, aim the mind, warm it with a winning attitude, steer it with responsibility, train it with habits, and send it out to serve. In time, the child will answer that bed-edge question with a life. Begin not with a lecture, but with a mirror. Picture the mind of a child as clear glass, and watch how every word, image, and expectation placed behind that glass becomes the view they carry into tomorrow. If you want a glimpse of their future, examine the patterns that occupy their thoughts today. We do not drift into excellence. We are directed there by the traffic of our thinking. Parents are the first traffic controllers. What passes the gate? What is turned away? That choice writes the opening chapters of character, discipline, and hope. Teach a child that thought is practice for reality. A basketball player rehearses shots, the mind rehearses outcomes. Rehearse fear and you'll see hesitation. Rehearse possibility and you'll notice doors. Ask better questions and the mind brings better answers. What can I try next? Who can help? What did I learn? These questions are flashlights in the dark hallways of challenge. Place one on the nightstand. Make another part of the breakfast table. Repetition turns questions into character. Show them the power of the mental diet. We are shaped by the currency of attention. If a child spends it on petty conflicts, constant comparison, and hopeless narratives, the return is small and sour. If they invest it in ideas, skills, and solution-seeking, the return compounds. Establish a family rule for every hour of entertainment. Give 15 minutes to reading, thinking, or making something with your hands. Keep a notebook within reach. Thoughts that are captured grow stronger. Thoughts that are neglected evaporate. Encourage collecting quotations, sketching inventions, mapping problems. The mind loves what it revisits. Language is the mason of the mind. Replace always and never with until. Trade I can't for I can't yet. The single syllable of yet opens a window where there was once a wall. Encourage precise talk, not I'm bad at math, but fractions are slow for me and I will practice them 10 minutes a day. Precision turns fog into a map. The moment a child hears themselves state a specific plan, they experience a small audition for the person they are becoming. Guard self-image, for it is the thermostat of behavior. Children act like the person they believe they are. If the belief is weak, behavior will sabotage opportunity to stay consistent with that weakness. Feed a stronger picture. Praise effort honestly, not lavishly. Tie identity to actions that can be repeated. You keep promises. You look for solutions. You prepare. The brain loves evidence. Give it fresh exhibits every day. Encourage the skill of purposeful imagining. Not fantasy, but rehearsal. See the room where the presentation will happen. Hear your voice steady, feel your feet planted. Add details, the smell of paper, the shuffle of chairs, the nod of a teacher. The mind cannot resist moving toward a picture held with emotion and revisited often. 2 minutes each night is enough to start laying track for tomorrow's train. Curate the environment. Rooms teach, desks teach, friends teach. A tidy workspace says, we expect clarity here. A bookshelf within sight says, we expect growth. Friends who pursue projects say, we expect effort. Remove unnecessary noise and place visible cues of who we are becoming. A calendar with small checkboxes, a whiteboard for ideas, a jar labeled wins that collects slips of paper noting daily progress. Make the house whisper the next best step. Model the habit of turning setbacks into seminars. When something goes wrong, narrate your thinking aloud, identify what is within your control. Choose one action, execute promptly, review gently. Children borrow the music of our responses before they compose their own. Let them hear calm analysis instead of complaint. Let them see adjustments instead of avoidance. One composed response can outteach a dozen speeches. Finally, establish 2 anchor rituals. Each morning, ask the child to choose a thought worth carrying, a goal, a virtue, a problem to solve. Each evening, ask what they noticed, learned, or improved. Morning plants, evening harvests. Over days, the mind begins to expect direction at sunrise and reflection at sunset. Keep it simple, one idea, one effort, one review, repeated daily until the pattern feels natural and self-propelled. Where the mind goes, life follows. Teach them to send it where they want to arrive. Picture a traveler stepping onto a platform with no destination in mind. Trains arrive, trains depart, and every whistle sounds the same. Most people live this way, busy in motion, but not necessarily on their way. Teach a child that a goal is a ticket with a destination printed in ink. The moment a mind decides where it is going, the world rearranges itself into tracks and timetables. Energy which once leaked into distractions begins to flow like a river that has found its banks. A goal is not a wish. A wish is smoke, a goal is a brick. Show them how to make it solid. Start with a picture they can describe without adjectives, a grade earned by a date, a skill performed for a minute count, a page written to a word number, a lap swum in a time. If it cannot be measured, it cannot be steered. Write it down. Put it where eyes land in the morning. Read it softly, like a promise you intend to keep. The mind believes what the mouth repeats, especially when the repetition is calm and consistent. Break the vast into the small until the small can fit into today's pocket. A mountain is climbed one foothold at a time. Excellence is built in segments that a single afternoon can carry. Help them plan in units they control: minutes, problems, pages, reps, attempts. Replace "I'll get better at science" with 20 focused minutes on Chapter 3, 3 days this week. Questions noted in the margin. Replace "practice piano" with 15 minutes on bars 12-24, hands separate, then hands together twice. The mind respects clarity, the calendar respects specificity. The schedule is the quiet ally of every goal. Put the important on the calendar before the urgent blasts its horn. Choose blocks that match attention span. 25 minutes can be magic when the phone is in another room. Begin at the same time when possible. Consistency lowers the cost of starting. End with a tiny wins, a solved problem circled in the margin, a bar played cleanly once, a paragraph free of edits. The feeling of completion, however small, teaches the brain to expect progress next time. Teach the checkpoint rhythm: set, act, review, adjust. On the first day of each week, confirm the destination and sketch the steps. Each day act on one step. At day's end, review in a sentence or two what moved forward, what blocked the path, what will you change tomorrow. On the last day, adjust the plan with what you learned. Goals are not stone statues, they are living instructions. The student who learns to course correct learns to arrive. There will be days when the rails seem to vanish, fatigue visits. Distraction knocks, doubt murmurs. This is not the signal to quit, it is the signal to simplify. Return to the next smallest action. A single problem, a single paragraph, a single scale. Momentum is humble. It asks only for movement. Reward the act of beginning, not just the act of finishing. The habit of starting is worth more than a streak of perfect days. Make the environment serve the goal. A desk cleared the night before is an invitation. Materials stacked in order of use remove friction. A visible list of today's 3 steps replaces anxiety with direction. Even the chair position matters. Angled toward the task, not toward the screen that steals hours. Teach the rule: if it isn't helping the goal, it should be out of arm's reach during the block. Track progress where the eye can see. A simple chart on the wall turns effort into evidence. Each square filled is a vote for the identity they are building: reader, problem solver, musician, athlete, creator. When a child can point to a line of completed boxes, belief rises. Belief is fuel, fuel sustains the climb. Encourage the language of alignment. Before a choice, ask, does this move me in the direction of my destination? If yes, green light; if no, pause. The difference between drifting and directing is a dozen small choices made with a clear target in mind. Even play and rest can be aligned, scheduled, guilt-free. Chosen to restore the very focus that the next block will require. Invite accountability into the process. A quick daily report, spoken at dinner or written on a sticky note, keeps the compass honest. Celebrate adjustments more than perfection. Praise the moment they trimmed a task to fit a crowded day, rather than abandoning the day altogether. A child who learns to salvage progress from imperfect conditions gains a lifelong advantage. Finally, show how goals shape character. Reaching the destination is one prize. Who they become while traveling is the greater one. Patience grows when results take time. Discipline grows when desire and duty disagree and duty still wins. Confidence grows when the evidence of effort stacks up. Teach them to choose destinations worthy of that growth. Then help them board the right train, ticket in hand, eyes forward. With a clear destination, each day knows what it is for, and a life, one day at a time, discovers its direction. There is a gauge quietly running in every room. It doesn't measure temperature or noise. It measures the way we carry ourselves toward what happens. Call it the tilt of the mind. When the tilt leans toward possibility, the same day is light. When it leans toward complaint, the same day is heavy. Children read that gauge faster than they read clocks. They imitate it. They internalize it. The lesson for them is simple and profound: attitude is not decoration. It is instrumentation. Teach that circumstances are weather, and weather changes. Attitude is clothing, and clothing can be chosen. We do not control the rain, but we decide whether to step out in a thin shirt or a sturdy coat. The first words after a setback act like that coat. I knew it. This always happens to me. Leaves us shivering. Good. Now I have something to practice. Puts a lining in our day. The mouth gives orders to the mind. Show a child how to issue better orders. Build a habit of naming the opportunity hidden inside the obstacle. This is not blind optimism. It is disciplined attention. When homework is difficult, the opportunity might be patience, note-taking, or asking a thoughtful question. When a teammate is unkind, the opportunity might be boundaries, empathy, or seeking a better circle. Write it on paper. The opportunity in this problem is da-da-da-da-do. The brain cooperates more readily with problems that have a clear purpose. Purpose turns friction into traction. Anchor attitude to actions we can repeat. Gratitude is not an emotion to wait for, it is a practice to perform. 3 short lines each evening, 1 person, 1 event, 1 lesson, will begin to color the next morning's perspective. Expectancy is not superstition, it is a readiness to notice doors. Ask each morning, what might go right today if I contribute my best? Responsibility is not blame, it is the privilege of steering. Replace, they made me mad with, I chose anger. I can choose something else. These are small sentences that change large outcomes. Language shapes the lens. Trade global final words for specific temporary ones. Not, I'm terrible at this, but today I stumbled on steps 4 and 5. Not everything went wrong, but 2 parts failed and I will adjust them. This kind of speech trains the mind to look for levers instead of labels. The child who learns to describe experience with accuracy is already halfway to improving it. Encourage them to speak in verbs. Learn, try, refine. Continue, because verbs are where change lives. Model the posture of an even keel. When plans shift, breathe once longer than usual. When tempers flare, lower the voice instead of raising it. Children borrow our pace. If we practice a pause, they inherit a pause. Teach a simple reset, feet flat, shoulders back. Slow inhale to a count of 4. Slow exhale to a count of 4. Name the next right action. The body is not separate from attitude, it broadcasts it. A steady body helps a steady mind find its footing. Treat mistakes as information, not identity. Collect them like coaches collect game film. After a poor test, avoid the spiral of character judgments. Instead, run the review. Where did attention slip? Which concepts were unclear? How will the next session be adjusted? Write one adjustment on a sticky note and place it on the textbook. Now the mistake has become a map. A child who learns to mine errors for instruction will never be poor in progress. Surround the day with cues that support a strong tilt. A tidy space lifts respect. A visible checklist lowers friction. A short morning phrase, I bring effort, not excuses, can become a trigger for posture and focus. Keep reminders where eyes naturally land: the water bottle on the desk, the book open to the ribbon, the timer within reach. The environment should whisper the attitude we want the mind to adopt. Invite contribution. Attitude thrives when it is used in service of something beyond the self. Ask, whose load can we lighten by 1% today? It might be a sibling's chore, a classmate's question, or a teacher's request. Service silences self-pity, not by ignoring difficulty, but by giving difficulty a mission. When a child experiences the lift that comes from being useful, they begin to choose a stance that prepares them to be useful more often. Establish a daily scoreboard that tracks effort qualities, not just outcomes. Focus minutes completed, questions asked, kindness shown, starts made without prompting, resets after frustration. Tallying these teaches that attitude is observable and trainable. Praise with precision. I saw you pause, breathe, and return to the problem. Or, you reframed I can't into I can't yet, so I'll try step 1. Precision tells the mind exactly what to repeat. Finally, remind them that attitude is not about pretending everything is fine. It is about preparing to do something about what is not. It is the practiced decision to meet events with composure, to label problems as training partners, and to take the smallest next action with care. From this stance, ordinary days yield uncommon growth. The gauge moves, the room changes, and a child learns the quiet power of choosing how to carry themselves toward what happens. Hand a young person a set of keys, and they will understand the symbol right away: control, direction, the power to start moving. Responsibility is the real set of keys for life, not blame, not shame keys. The moment a child learns to ask, what can I do now? Instead of, who did this to me? The engine turns over. You can hear it, the click of ownership, the hum of initiative, the quiet confidence of someone who intends to steer. Teach the difference between fault and response. Fault looks backward, response looks forward. Fault hunts for culprits, response hunts for options. When a grade disappoints, the question is not, why is the teacher unfair? But, which study block will I schedule and what will I change? When a friendship strains, the question is not, who started it, but what boundary, apology, or conversation belongs to me. This shift restores power. Even a small, clear action performed quickly is worth more than an hour of perfect excuses. Draw the circle of control and practice standing inside it. Thoughts, choices, effort, preparation, attention, these are inside. Weather, traffic, other people's opinions, the past, these are outside. Put the list on paper. Point to it when tempers flare. The brain relaxes when it knows what is and isn't its job. Responsibility is not carrying the world, it is carrying your corner of it with care. Make ownership visible. A labeled notebook that is always where it should be. A checklist that is filled without prompting. A desk reset at day's end. Small acts performed reliably become evidence, and evidence shapes identity. I am the kind of person who is written line by these proofs. The child who sees tidy tools and completed squares does not need pep talks to believe they are capable. They can point to the proof. Replace vague intentions with concrete agreements. I'll try dissolves. I'll read 10 pages by 7:30 p.m., and I'll mark the margin with a question holds. Time, place, action. Put it on the calendar. Set a timer. The dignity of responsibility grows when it is given structure. You are not asking a child to be perfect. You are teaching them to keep a promise small enough to keep today and meaningful enough to matter tomorrow. Model prompt recovery. Spills happen. Ink on paper, milk on the floor, words that land hard. Do not give long speeches in the moment. Move first, wipe, replace, repair, then review. The order teaches more than the talk. Action breaks the trance of regret. Only afterward do you analyze, what sign did I miss? What will I do differently next time? The pattern. Act, then analyze, prevents a minor failure from becoming a major story. Invite consequences that teach, not punish. If the device breaks because of carelessness, the next weeks include saving and fixing. If a deadline is missed, the next days include a written plan delivered early. The world already runs on cause and effect. Let the home be a faithful rehearsal. Keep your tone calm and your standards steady. Responsibility grows best in climates of respect. Language matters. Cut the strings from phrases that make us puppets. They made me. I had no choice. That's just how I am. Replace them with sentences that put hands on the wheel. I chose. I allowed. I will. Add the word yet, where discouragement tries to end the discussion. I can't solve this, yet. The smallest tilt in words becomes a large turn in outcomes. Teach the ledger of commitments. What you agree to owns a space in your day until it is completed. Do not let promises drift into the fog. Use a simple system, capture every commitment in one place. Review it at a set time. Renegotiate before you fail, and close the loop with a clear deliverable. Children who learn to manage commitments learn to earn trust. Trust multiplies opportunities. Opportunities multiply growth. Practice the audit of influence. Ask, who gains or loses when I act this way? Responsibility expands as awareness expands. Work turned in on time relieves a teacher. A chore done without reminders lifts a parent. A kind word steadies a friend. Seeing the chain of benefit elevates routine tasks into acts of service. The ordinary becomes meaningful when you notice who stands downstream. Encourage pre-commitment to hard moments. Decide the response before the difficulty arrives. When I feel like quitting, I will do 10 more minutes. When I make a mistake, I will write one adjustment. When someone criticizes me, I will ask if there's one useful point. Pre-made choices are bridges over emotional rivers. They spare us from being ruled by the weather of the moment. Keep a scoreboard that rewards stewardship. Materials returned to their place, deadlines met, repairs made, resets after frustration, help offered without being asked. Track it for a month. Watch confidence rise. Confidence that comes from stewardship is quieter than applause and sturdier than praise. It stays when the room is empty. Finally, frame responsibility as freedom's partner. The more reliably you steer, the farther you're allowed to travel. Doors open for those who arrive prepared, who keep their word, who fix what they break, who improve what they touch. Show a child that every yes they earn is built from 100 small yeses they gave to their own standards. In time, they will discover the secret. Adults spend years learning responsibility is not a weight on your back. It is the weight in your shoes that gives you traction. With traction, you can climb. With traction, you can choose your direction. With traction, you can go. Not every victory sounds like a cheer. Most of them sound like a chair sliding back at the same hour every day, a book opening to a folded page, a timer clicking on. Children rarely fail for lack of talent. They stumble for lack of rails. Habits are those rails, quiet tracks that carry effort across the rough places. When a pattern is wise and repeated, it becomes a form of mercy. You no longer argue with yourself, you simply arrive, begin, continue, finish. Teach that we do not rise to the level of our hopes, we fall to the level of our practice. Hope is wind, welcome but unpredictable. Practice is the keel that keeps the boat from tipping. Build the keel in inches. 10 minutes of reading before screens. 5 minutes to reset the room at day's end. 1 line in a journal to capture what was learned. These are small enough to start on a tired day, strong enough to keep a long promise alive. Start with triggers. The brain loves a cue. Tie the new behavior to something that already happens. After brushing teeth, set out tomorrow's clothes. After dinner, place the backpack by the door with the zipper closed. After homework, put a check mark on the wall chart. The sequence matters less than the certainty. When this, then that. Repetition turns thought into groove, groove into guidance. Reduce friction until the action is easier to do than to avoid. Put the instrument on its stand, not in its case. Leave the book open to the next chapter. Prepare the study table with sharpened pencils and a clear list the night before. The mind mistakes obstacles for meaning, remove the obstacle, and meaning appears when progress begins. On the other hand, increase friction for temptations. Phone in another room, snacks off the desk, notifications silenced during the work block. Make the helpful path smooth and the harmful one inconvenient. Track behavior you want more of. A simple grid on paper beats an app you forget to open. Each X marked as a receipt of effort and a vote for identity, reader, builder, finisher. Streaks matter not for trophies, but for momentum. When a day breaks the chain, begin the next day by drawing a new first X. The rule is mercy in returns. Never miss twice. Choose keystone habits, small practices that quietly improve other areas. A consistent bedtime lifts focus. A tidy workspace shrinks resistance. A short daily plan clarifies priorities and reduces anxiety. Teach a child to ask, what small action today would make many other actions easier? Put that near the top of the list, even if it feels modest. Modest is the doorway to massive. Show how to scale the habit to the day. Not every day offers the same energy. Keep a minimum version that keeps the identity warm. When time is tight, do 1 page instead of 10, 1 scale instead of 3, 5 push-ups instead of 20. The minimum is not a loophole, it is a lifeline. It preserves continuity, and continuity preserves confidence. From a kept streak, larger efforts return quickly. Language shapes habit just as surely as effort does. Replace, if I have time, with, at 7:15 I begin. Replace, I'll try, with, I will complete the first 2 steps. Speak in clocks and actions, not wishes. The mind obeys specifics. Encourage children to write their prompts where eyes land, a sticky note on the lamp, a taped card on the notebook, a line at the top of the day's page. The visible word becomes a visible start. Reward the pattern, not the outcome. Applause for the test score fades. Respect for the study ritual endures. After a work block, offer a small, honest reward, a stretch, a walk, a song, a square of chocolate enjoyed without hurry. The point is not the treat, it is the association. Effort followed by satisfaction. The brain returns to what it associates with quiet pleasure. Teach the weekly review like clockwork. Sit down at the same time, open the same notebook, ask the same 3 questions. What did I keep? Where did I drift? What will I adjust? Adjust means edit the cue, shorten the block, rearrange the order, or change the environment. Habits are living arrangements, they deserve maintenance. Keep the tone factual, not moral. We are engineers here improving a system, not judges handing out sentences. Invite identity to lead. When a child says, I read, Evyer holds. When they say, I'm trying to read, the behavior negotiates. Identity is a contract written in present tense. Encourage statements that begin with, I am the kind of person who, and let the tracker, the tidy desk, the punctual start be the signatures. Evidence persuades belief, belief powers consistency. Pair habits with service, after your own routine. Look for a task that improves the day for someone else by 1%. Return the shared space to order. Refill supplies without being asked. Answer a sibling's small question. Service strengthens discipline because it relocates attention from comfort to contribution. The person who can direct themselves can be trusted to direct help toward others. Finally, remind them that habits are not cages, they are corridors. Inside those corridors, creativity can roam because decisions have been prepared. A practiced scale frees the hands to play with expression. A daily page frees the mind to explore ideas. A scheduled study block frees the evening for rest without guilt. Build the corridors patiently, brick by brick, simple, repeatable, steady. In time, the child will look back and recognize that the quietest choices carried them the farthest, and that excellence arrived not with a shout, but with the soft, dependable sound of starting on time. A good day can be measured by a simple question: who is better off because you were here? Teach this early. The world is a giant exchange where value moves like current, and the surest way to receive is to contribute first. Service is not a detour from progress, it is the road itself. When a child learns to look for chances to add value, 1% more clarity, 1% more kindness, 1% more effort, the doors that seem locked for others begin to open as if on hinges they oiled themselves. Start with what's in reach. Carry your corner. Straighten the space everyone shares. Offer the first 5 minutes of any study group to help someone catch up. Ask a teacher, is there one small thing I can do that makes your day easier? Notice how problems shrink when the question shifts from, what do I get? To, what can I give? This is not about becoming invisible or agreeable. It is about becoming useful. The market, the classroom, the team, all reward those who make things move forward with less friction. Value often looks ordinary up close. A labeled drawer saves 100 future searches. A clear summary after a group meeting prevents 3 emails. A sincere note of thanks keeps a relationship warm before a cold day arrives. Teach children to scan for friction points and remove them. That habit becomes a portable advantage wherever they go. Progress speeds up. Pair service with the discipline of finishing. Begin by asking, what outcome, if delivered today, would actually help someone? Then deliver it, even if small. Partial help creates dependency. Completed help builds trust. Trust is the currency that buys future opportunity. A reputation for finishing will carry a young person farther than raw talent that still needs to be chased to produce results. Service also calibrates the ego. When a child makes themselves useful, they trade the fragile approval of applause for the durable approval of outcomes. Applause fades, outcomes stack. Stacked outcomes become a story others can count on. That story is read by coaches, teachers, mentors, and later by managers and customers. It says, when this person is around, things work. Alongside service, train the quiet muscle of perseverance. Most worthwhile tasks have a point where the easy progress ends and the real work begins. Many stop here and rename stopping as waiting for inspiration. Do not glorify sprints, honor returns. The person who comes back after frustration has learned the deeper rhythm of achievement. Start, meet resistance, simplify, continue. Teach the 10-minute rule. When you want to quit, give the task 10 more minutes of honest effort. Often the knot loosens right after that extra interval, not because the task changed, but because the mind did. Make perseverance practical. Break a challenge into slices thin enough to finish today. If the essay feels large, write the outline. If the outline feels large, craft 3 bullet points. If even that feels heavy, set a timer for 5 minutes and move your hand until it rings. Progress, however small, changes the chemistry of the moment. It replaces the story, I can't, with, I started, and starting is the only bridge to finishing. Treat setbacks like apprenticeships. Rather than asking, why is this happening to me? Ask, what is this teaching me? Write the answer. Name the skill the struggle is forcing you to learn. Patience, pacing, clarity, communication. When adversity is framed as training, it loses its power to humiliate and gains the power to educate. The lesson is harvested, the sting fades faster. Sustain effort with meaningful fuel. Working for praise is a weak battery. Working to be helpful lasts longer. Connect tasks to people. Who benefits if I do this well? Put a name to it. It's easier to return to a hard page when you remember it will lighten a teacher's load or lift a teammate's performance. Service gives perseverance a face, and faces are better motivators than gold stars. Mind the environment. Surround effort with cues that invite return, a prepared workspace, a visible checklist, a ritual that marks, now we begin. Keep distractions inconvenient. Anything that steals momentum is taxed by distance or delay. Phone in another room. Notifications off until the block is complete. Snacks out of reach. Friction that slows you is an enemy. Friction that slows temptation is a friend. ChatGPT said, celebrate the right things. Praise the act of showing up on time, the moment you resumed after a pause, the clarity in a note that helped someone else understand faster. Small recognitions tied to behaviors teach the brain what to repeat. When a day doesn't go as planned, don't dramatize the gap. Close the loop with one action. Send the question, revise the line, clean the table, and call that your return. Momentum is a conversation with yourself. Keep it polite and persistent. Teach that service and perseverance are companions. One asks, how can I help? The other answers, by staying with it. Together they create character that opportunity can trust. The child who makes themselves useful and keeps showing up becomes the person others look for when the stakes are high. That reputation is a lighthouse in any storm, steady, bright, unmistakable. And in time, the current of value they set in motion comes back, stronger, wider, carrying them farther than ambition alone ever could. If a child remembers only one thing from us, let it be this: life bends toward the pictures we hold in our minds, and we can choose those pictures. Aim the mind with clear goals, carry those goals with a winning attitude, steer each day with responsibility, ride dependable rails of habit, and move the world an inch at a time through service and steady perseverance. None of this is loud. It is a series of small, repeatable choices, a thought chosen at dawn, a step scheduled on the calendar, a pause to breathe and reframe, a promise kept when no one is watching, a helpful act offered before it's asked for, a return to the task after the first wave of frustration passes. Do this long enough and the ordinary days compound into an extraordinary life. So tonight, write one sentence about who you are becoming, and tomorrow morning act on the first inch of it. Ask better questions. Speak with precision. Keep your corner in order. Track your effort where your eyes can see it. Make yourself useful. When you feel like stopping, stay 10 minutes more. You will teach your children more with those 10 minutes than with 100 speeches. And one day, when they are asked what turned them toward a life of meaning, they will remember the quiet pattern you lived. Think well, aim true, stand tall, own it, practice daily, and leave every place a little better than you found it.